In the north of the country sat the quaint town of Friendlyville, known for its, friendly and hard-working people. Mutual assistance was the motto of this town, and friendly residents were always ready to help one another, or so friendliness goes. But on the outskirts of the city lived a woman, Sally, who behaved quite differently from the rest of the townspeople. She was a callous person, so much so that if a neighbor's house caught on fire, she would say, "What do I have to do with it? Not even heaven cares about the affairs of others. It's none of my business, so be gone with it." Residents of the city tiptoes around Sally. Turning to her for help was pointless, and neighbors dubbed her "Not My Business Sally." Every autumn, a large farmers' fair was held in the next town over. And just like every year, the fair exhibited the best of garden figures competing for a top prize. The inhabitants of Friendlyville were famous gardeners and always took part in the fair. Sally, like her neighbors, had a garden and made a figure every year. From year to year, she took prizes. This time, she built a huge owl and felt assured of another win. Early in the morning, Sally loaded the sculpture into the back of a pickup truck. Before that, she put potted cypresses in the car that completely blocked the sculpture and the owl, so that they could not be seen from the cabin. Sally started the engine and, in a good mood, went to the fair, anticipating her victory. Sally saw neighbors from here and there rushing with excitement to the fair. Someone carried pumpkins, someone flowers, but everyone had a sculpture for the fair. As Sally continued her drive out of town, along the road and through the forest, she failed to notice how pigeons, crows, and magpies flew over her sculpture. Smart crows grabbed nuts from the sculpture and threw them on the asphalt, and winged tricksters feasted on their spotted prey of cracked nuts. Pigeons pecked at lentils, and magpies crushed beans with strong beaks. The majestic owl turned into a plucked chicken, frail and damaged. But Sally couldn't see anything from behind the cypress trees. Still, along the way, she caught sight of a neighbor walking in the direction of the fair. Waving, flailing both arms, the neighbor was able to finally stop Sally, and as she rolled down her window, the man said, "If a neighbor is in trouble, should I tell him or not?" Sally was used to such questions and shouted back, "The affairs of others are of no concern to me or anyone else." So the neighbor hitched a ride, but fell silent as Sally drove a little more. The birds were so carried away about the theft of nuts and beans that the foam base shined in places where metal stood exposed. A little more and nothing would remain of the owl. The neighbor again spoke up and asked, "Well, if you can help someone else's trouble, then how?" Sally got angry and shouted back, "No way! What's the benefit to you? Never get lost in other people's affairs." Sally, with her neighbor, finally arrived at the fair. When Sally stepped out of the car, she quickly realized nothing of the owl remained, for the birds had eaten through it all. She got very angry and asked her neighbor, "Why didn't you tell me anything?" The neighbor responded, "You've told me it wasn't my business." Indifferent and selfish people, finding themselves in trouble, often do not find help because they themselves never help anyone. To get good, goodness must be sown. So the best way not to be in trouble is to help others.